As its nickname suggests, the Great Lakes state is surrounded by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, with Lake Ontario being the only exception. Sprinkled along the state's 3,224 miles of shoreline stand 124 lighthouses, more than any other state. In Part 3 of Lighthouses of Michigan, we'll take a look at Little Point Sable Lighthouse near Silver Lake State Park. When looking at a map of Lake Michigan, you will see 3 bumps along the Michigan shoreline. Starting in the north, there is Point Betsy, then south of that is Big Sable Point near Ludington, with the southern bump being Little Point Sable. After lighthouses were built at Point Betsy and Big Sable Point in 1858 and 1867 respectively, the Lighthouse Board in 1871 noted that a light was needed at Little Point Sable. $35,000 was appropriated by Congress on June 10, 1872. More than 40 acres of public land was set aside for the project. By the following April, a working party arrived and built a dock for landing material and provisions, followed by temporary housing structures. A few months later in July, 100 piles were driven into the sand for the foundation of the lighthouse. After the foundation was established, a roughly 100-foot brick tower was constructed. The light was unique as its lower and center sections were fixed, while its upper section revolved, producing a flash every 30 seconds. The revolving light was connected to a pedestal that revolved atop chariot wheels. Keepers had to wind up a 90-pound weight located between the tower's inner and outer walls that powered the revolving mechanism. James Davenport served as the first keeper at Little Point Sable Lighthouse beginning in 1874. John Carley aided him as the station's first assistant keeper. Their dwelling was a 2.5-story, 12-room structure connected to the base of the tower by a covered walkway. On August 6, 1875, the first of several shipwrecks was recorded when a schooner named Black Hawk ran aground on the point. Keeper Davenport recorded that, quote, "Crew all saved." During the lumber boom of western Michigan in the 1880s, many shipwrecks were recorded near the lighthouse. In 1893, a 360-gallon circular iron oil house was built 100 feet northeast of the tower, with a brick oil house added a decade later. The tower was painted white in 1900 to help it stand out from the surrounding dunes, and in 1911, the living space in the dwelling was expanded. From 1899 to 1922, Joseph Arthur Hunter served as keeper, longer than any other keeper at the lighthouse. On December 9, 1904, while driving his team of horses along a road, Hunter encountered his first car. Hunter scavenged the lakeshore near the lighthouse, gathering items that were washed ashore. By 1922, he had collected enough shingles and lumber to build his retirement home. Henry Vavrina was serving as assistant keeper to William Cruel in November of 1940 when the Armistice Day storm struck the point. The storm created wind gusts of over 90 miles per hour with 30-foot waves. 56 crew members lost their lives when the lake freighters William B. Davik and Anna C. Minch sank. Another ship, the Canadian freighter Novadoc, hauling carbon coke from Chicago to Montreal, lost 2 of its sailors, with the other 17 being rescued by Clyde Cross, the captain of a tug called the Three Brothers. Upon being rescued, Captain Stipe of the Novadoc handed Captain Cross a roll of money as a sign of appreciation. Captain Cross sat back against the bulkhead of his tug and replied,
"How no, Captain. Glad to be of service."
Just before World War II, Keeper Vavrina lost his wife and was left to raise their 2 daughters at the lighthouse alone. Although the lighthouse did not have electricity, in 1947, Keeper Vavrina hosted a large dinner party where he served homemade rolls, pies, and other treats. 2 years later, he married Elizabeth Harkenrider, a local divorcee, with 2 young sons. While many wondered why the lighthouse did not have electricity, Keeper Vavrina was in no rush to receive the service, as he knew that would mark the end of his duties as keeper. In 1948, Keeper Vavrina was promoted to head keeper and would remain in this position until 1954, 1 year after the lighthouse was electrified. He then was moved to Big Sable Point and served there for another decade. By 1958, The brick dwelling was torn down, and in 1974, the tower was sandblasted to eliminate the need for regular painting. In 2005, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources leased the lighthouse to the Big Sable Point Lighthouse Keepers Association. The 25-year lease allowed the group to open the tower to the public for the first time since the late 1940s. An organization known as the Little Point Sable Lighthouse Seekers was formed in 1999 with the goal of opening the tower, but after exhausting many options to reach their objective, they reached out to the Big Sable Group for help in 2002. Big Sable Point Lighthouse Keepers later changed their name to Sable Point's Lighthouse Keepers Association to reflect their expanding role in overseeing multiple lighthouses. In 2010, a federal coastal zone management grant funded the completion of a paved pathway through the dunes to the lighthouse, making the trek to the tower much easier. Little Point Sable Lighthouse was deactivated in 2014. Thank you for watching.